Hey Deckerson, how's it going? Alright, so what we have going on here is Mayan Kickball on an FPGA. Have you heard of FPGAs before, by chance? It's kind of a, I guess it's more of a hardware than software thing for the most part. Not sure if that rings a bell. Hey, go. How are you guys doing? So an FPGA is it stands for Field Programmable Gate Array, and effectively what it is, it's like a grid of little. Oh yeah, we're affiliate now. Subscribe today, and you get a jigwig, and there's more. You also get emotes depending on the tier. But if you don't want to subscribe, there's always the FFZ emotes for free, so you can still take part. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was so excited. I was like, holy cow, I don't even know what I'm going to make for like the sub badges or anything. Hey, no worries. No worries at all. Being just, you know, being a viewer and especially interactive in the chat is the most meaningful to me. So thank you guys both for being here and for your continued interaction. I really appreciate it. Truly. You've been VIP'd. That's right. Oh yeah, you guys get to see some action. Okay, so I need to go ahead and I guess show you guys these green flashing lights occur when you win. Aw, love you too, Dickerson. These green lights they flash when you win the game. So the way that you win the game is you score 10 points. Now, of course, regular, like, you know, the Banjo-Tooie minigame, Mayan Kickball, you've got 45 seconds to score as many points as possible, which led me down a path of darkness trying to go after the 46. Well, this version of the game isn't played that way. This version of the game is played such that the game ends after somebody scores 10 points. I tried to set it up as closely as possible to the minigame from Banjo-Tooie, but it's very difficult to do because, like, this board that I'm using, this hardware board, has very limited resources. Well, okay, I say very limited. It depends on what you're trying to do. In the context of making a fully fledged video game, the resources are pretty limited. But I guess the crux of it here is that I tried to make 4 characters like in Tooie's Kickball, and you would have each opponent. There would be 3 opponents and then 1 playable character. The playable character tries to score the goal at the top of the screen, and then each of the 3 opponents would try to score balls in their respective goals. But each ball in this game gives you 1 point, whereas of course in Tooie it gives you 2 points. Yellow balls, that is. I didn't have the hardware resources to put more than just one kind of ball in the game, so it's kind of limited in that capacity. These 4 digits that you see under the unregistered FPGA cam 2. Thanks, Go. I appreciate it. I really like that one. I didn't even try to like make it into a cute face or anything. I was just like, well, we could have an yeah, and we could have a b or b. I guess you have to end that on a B. It's kind of hard to say, isn't it? So yeah, each digit on this scoreboard is, oh, for real? Yes. Duad. I would love to share because everybody in the community's got to be familiar with this button. So this is the LEDs you see here are actually a scoreboard, and this is one of the digits is so I guess if there were 4 players, then each digit would represent one player's score. And of course, since we only had 4 of these 7-segment displays, then we couldn't really go into double digits. So to represent 10, I had to use the letter A, which in hex, of course, is 10. So what we're seeing here is that 1 player, which doesn't exist because we only had room on the board to program the logic for 3 players. So that score is always going to be 0 until I port the game to an upgraded version of the board. And from this past match, I actually won, hence the green flashing lights. And one of the I keep calling them bots, but one of the computer players scored 6 points, one of them scored 7, and I won with 10 points. So yeah, I can give a demonstration or two. So just note that, I guess, yeah, this game is fundamentally played in such a way that we try to get 10 points before the other players do. So here we go. It's going to be a little bit delayed for me also. So I'm not going to be able to see the balls right as they spawn. And interceptions don't work in this game because that would have required more if then else logic. And the, oh no, I missed it. And this board didn't have any more room left on it to program any more logic into it. So we had to leave it at this. And so it's it plays pretty slowly. Obviously the frame rate, you guys can probably tell, isn't really that fantastic, but it gets the job done. And from a mechanical perspective, you kind of have a better idea of what's going on. But it is, like, from a player's perspective, it feels rather laggy because of the slow frame rate. And there's actually a glitch that can occur. I'll see if I can, oh, I think I messed it up. Yeah. If me and one of the opponents get to the ball on the exact same frame, we both take possession of it, and there's a glitch mode that kind of occurs. Okay, that might have done it. Yeah, there we go. It can move the ball diagonally. So that's actually what just happened. That's actually a glitch. And I think I still have possession of a ball or two. So right now the game's actually in a zombie state. The game won't progress until I shoot a ball. I'm losing by a great deal, so this would be a good time to reset. But just to show you what I mean, I can shoot the ball, goes to my goal, and we're back to playing the game. It's kind of interesting too because there is a ball possession glitch that actually occurs in Kickball and Tooie, but I don't think it's because you take possession of the ball in the same frame as somebody else. I think it's because you sorry, trying to focus on winning and talk at the same time, and I'm not very good at multitasking. In Tooie, the ball possession glitch occurs when you touch, I think it's like if you touch the ground, like after you get knocked up into the air from a tackle from one of the other bad stonies, if you touch the ground in a ball that was recently possessed by another stony, like all in the same frame, then you can take possession of 2 balls, which is kind of the holy grail of Mayan Kickball quarterfinals at least, but because the tackle rate is pretty low. There we go. Okay, I won because I cheated, kind of. I exploited a glitch that was activated accidentally. So yeah, only 2 enemies here. I am an official cheater here, so sorry. Not sorry. Yeah, so there's only 2 enemies here because to program the logic for the third the way that we were doing would have been one would have taken more work, and this was for a school project, so we of course were trying to put in the minimal viable effort, but also the hardware on the board, we ran out of what are referred to as blocks, and with those you kind of, or not blocks, sorry, slices. We ran out of logical slices. Thanks to the GGs, guys. I appreciate it. So the hardware resources in this board are divided into what are called slices, and basically when you use a lot of nested if then else statements, then what happens is it uses up more slices, but you're not using like 100% of the slice. You can program it using combinational logic like ands and ors and stuff, but that is for something of, you know, for this game it would have been viable if we'd started on it sooner, but unfortunately we didn't have the time to do that, and because of the relatively limited resources on the board, namely the number of hardware slices we could use, we had to cap it at 2 opponents. So yeah, yeah, it took a couple months, and I really wanted to show this sooner because I know that I had mentioned it on stream several times on the grind for the fabled 46, but oh man, I messed it up. I can't even mim properly. There we go. When I was like, you know, I talked about like how, oh, I know a 46 is possible because I choked one, but I didn't want to post the video until I posted the my success story to YouTube. In the same video I could show like where I choked, and then I could show where I actually ended up getting the 46. Another thing I had mentioned was how I really wanted to show Mayan Kickball in an FPGA, and because I had the game programmed, I had all the, well, okay, I had the board, I had the, oh yeah, the controller. I didn't actually show the controller, and I don't know if I'll be able to show it on cam very easily, so let me, and it's also a little bit laggy, so let me make sure. Thanks, Eckerson. I appreciate the support. That's where I keep all my little PBs and Minigame world records and all that fun stuff. So it's a good place to check that out. Okay, so let me see if I can kind of finesse this in here. I'll just unplug it. How about that? Okay, so, okay. This is the controller. It's just a little joystick module, basically. Let me make sure it's showing up on cam, okay? Yeah, there we go. And there's actually, so you can move around. It's a pretty nice feeling, very fluid joystick. But there's this little button, and that's what I'm pressing to shoot the ball. So also kind of similar to Mayan Kickball in Tooie, you know, when I play, at least, I really only use my left hand, because in one hand you can hold the joystick and release the Z trigger to shoot the ball. So it's yeah, kind of similar in that regard. Although for this demonstration I was using my right hand. Oh, the fourth opponent. There wasn't, so the fourth opponent doesn't exist because the logic that it would have, I guess the code that it would have taken to dictate the third or the fourth player's behavior in this would have caused us to exceed the amount of memory that was available on this board. So we couldn't put in the fourth opponent in this map or in this game because the hardware we were programming didn't have enough memory available. Now, it's possible that we could have if we had worked significantly harder in terms of, I guess, programming it at a much more kind of crazy level. But even then, we could have run out of space. So, so yeah. Let me also try to plug this in because I want to see what happens, or I want to show you guys what happens when I shoot the ball on the controller. Okay, I'm gonna have to reset the board. And I'm also going to have to try to get a ball and hold this at a very awkward angle. There we go. Okay, so I've got the ball. Let me make sure the controller is visible. Um, I just now got the Globo joke, Deckerson. That was a top tier joke, by the way. Thank you for making that. I really like that. Okay, so when I shoot the ball, this green light on the controller actually turns on until it scores or despawns. So that's another feature, a little feature we put in there. It's the camera I have isn't so great, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what's going on. But yeah. So yeah, we also wanted to have each stony we wanted them to be distinguishable from one another. We wanted them each to have a different color of cap, but it was kind of difficult because again we were limited by space on this board, and for the graphics especially. So the way that the graphics kind of work is you can either write logical code to generate graphics under certain circumstances, or you can store the textures in block RAM using block RAM. This model of board had a pretty, I wouldn't say super limited amount of block RAM, but if you're talking about making a video game with multiple textures in it, then you don't really have a lot of block RAM to spare. So I'm pretty sure we used up 100% of the RAM. But there's another kind of RAM which is the logical kind that I mentioned a couple seconds ago, which you can write logical code which actually can store textures in its DRAM. But the issue with that is that if you're using that, actually uses the same logical elements that the AI controls and like the main engine of the game uses. So if you try to store stuff using the DRAM instead of the block RAM, then you're going to use up so much logic on the board, and we probably could have only had one, if any, opponents generated. So yeah, thanks. Yeah, this actually was a couple years ago that we finished it, but it felt, we did feel really good about it. Like the night we stayed up all night trying to finish it before it was due, and we felt on top of the world when we got it done, because we'd all worked so hard to figure out how to use all the different hardware on board and how to interface with the joystick module, and it was a multi-dimensional project for sure, and a lot of a lot of don't say heartache, a lot of really dedicated blood and brain cells went into getting this to the point where it is. So fortunately, because we have this prototype now, it would be easy, relatively speaking, to upgrade it on the next generation board, which I actually do own. So that would be pretty cool, I think, to have a more full version of it, to where we could have 3 computer players in addition to the human player, or even make it multiplayer. I think, I mean, there's a lot of different directions, like, as a project it could go, and just following the basic like minigame template of Tooie, there's a lot to be done, certainly. But yeah, so this last match we lost. One of the bots scored 10 points, hence the A. One of them scored 6, and I only scored 1 point. I usually put up more of a fight than that, but I just wanted to demonstrate the controller for that one, so I just needed one ball to show that the green light on the controller lights up when you shoot. But yeah, so that's I think that's most of it. So there are some glitches that can occur. It's, I guess, the glitches would be easy to fix. The frame rate would be pretty easy to fix. And if we had a bigger board, then we would have the RAM we need to store more graphics to make it more visually appealing, and we would also have the room for logic. to control a third player, or a third computer player specifically. Integrate this to a stream game driven by chat. Ooh, stream game. I'm not sure I follow. Like, oh, so like like the character would move based off of like text, perhaps, something like that. Forgive me for my ignorance. Where did my... There we go. Control the game based on... Oh, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, actually, that would be doable. It would be possible. Let me pull out the reason why that would be possible. Oh yeah, the delay. That's a good point. That would be an important thing to take into account. Okay. Alrighty, so I got the thing. If I can get my audio equipment to work with me here. Oh, I got you. Hopefully it's not too bad, or not something catastrophic on my end causing it. So far, it says I haven't dropped any frames, so that's good. Thank goodness. Okay. So yeah, the reason that would be possible, I mean, it would take some work for sure, but I've got this this other board called, I don't know if it'll show up okay on the camera, called the that's not showing up at all. The pink board. That's horrible. Give me just a sec. Okay. This guy. So this board is pretty cool because you can actually write Python code on here, and that can like compile. I don't know if compile is the right word. There's software on here that will translate Python code to the machine language, so to speak, of the hardware FPGA part of it. So it's like a nice combination. So you could use Python to interact with, like, Twitch, much like, I guess, your bot, for example. And there should be some way to like pipeline that into the hardware mapping. I assume. But it seems like the hardware at least should exist for something like that, based off of this guy. So so yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. And then, in terms of multiplayer, something like, true like multiplayer over internet could actually come to fruition. It would probably take some infrastructure set up on the end of the board, but it should be doable, I think. Yeah, so pretty cool. Oh, Twitch plays Pokemon. Oh, I haven't actually checked that out yet. Is that kind of how that works? I need to get with the program. Whoa, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. There we go. Okay, I don't know if that's going to be visible. I'm trying to get it back into, yeah, not really. There we go. Maybe that'll get it. Okay. Chat controlling the game. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. I think that'd be pretty neat. That'd be really neat, actually. I kind of wanted to like do something like when we were first like sort of plotting this out. We wanted to have it more fluid in the sense that like you weren't necessarily on like a grid. Well, okay, you would technically be on a grid, but you would be on a grid in the same sense that you are in like Banjo-Tooie, for example, to where technically like there aren't an infinite number of positions, but there's such a large number of like positions and angles and stuff that it's, for all intents and purposes, you know, fluid. It's more fluid in that sense, I guess. But it was harder to implement than we expected. So, but I do think that there's room for improvement for like the engine itself and sort of I guess how the game fundamentally operates. There are definitely improvements to be made. I think. So, and I know I have the hardware to do it, so it would be pretty cool. Oh yeah, also that reminds me, I meant to ask about the bonk spot idea. Let me type that out just to make sure I'm not saying it in a weird way. There are some cool things about the pink board I showed on camera a few minutes ago, which is that you can actually, there's HDMI in and HDMI out, so you can actually, I guess, do like real-time video processing on a board like that. And so I feel like the bot wouldn't really need that to be able to work, but what would be cool is if you could kind of, it would at least give a way to like maybe big maybe aid in the development, in the sense that you could check for certain frames or sounds or combinations thereof which indicate a bonk. But I think it might be probably, or I think it would probably be more straightforward than that, but just thinking out loud, totally thinking out loud. So oh really? I guess I've never done anything like that. I have I've done a fair bit of image processing stuff before, and I know that it seems like the bonks have I'm getting ahead of myself. Specifically, like I've looked at like the color patterns and geometry patterns of images, and I have a decent idea of how to decompose images into that information. So if two images had the signature of color and geometry that were similar enough, then maybe. Yeah, yeah. It's a huge area for sure. Chat messages. Oh, okay. Wouldn't be able to. Oh, I see. Hmm. Was that the thing you were talking about where you were trying to fix it? You wanted it to be able to work, I guess, independently of somebody posting a chat message? Or something along those lines. Oh my gosh. Deckerson, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Holy cow. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Congrats on #1. Oh yeah, the timer thing. So it was like, so even after the timer expires periodically, if nobody posts in chat, then the bot won't, I guess, respond. Even after the timer is up, it won't respond. Huh. Oh, you did kind of fix it? What was your fix? That has me really curious, because I don't know too much about how the bots work, but nothing really came to mind either, so I felt bad for not being able to suggest anything. Getting a ping from Twitch, okay. So do the pings come periodically? Necessarily? And my chat just totally disappeared. Sorry. Those ping. Oh, okay. So I see. So is that guaranteed to occur? I guess that triggering mechanism, is that guaranteed to occur in like a like a, what, I don't want to say the wrong word here, like a finite amount of time, I guess. Like it won't like indefinitely, I think a definite amount of time is what I meant to say. Like it won't like sort of indefinitely have to wait on a ping. That's a pretty cool fix. Innovativeness. Minute. Okay. Nice. Well done. That's pretty good. Like that's really cool. I'm happy that that got working. Uh oh. There we go. Let's let the computer players duke it out. See who wins. It's kind of weird because the I'm pretty sure the initial ball spawns are the same every time, but I don't know if all the spawns are. I want to say they are, but what's weird is sometimes the score won't always really reflect that. It's kind of creepy. I don't know. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, you kind of have like a I guess this stuff like building on itself too. Like once you figure out how to do certain things, you can kind of take what you've learned from that and then do something else too. Like I don't know. That's pretty awesome. Okay. Yeah, I think that's usually the score that happens. So that's a 09A0. Let's see what happens this time. Nice. Ah, my chat won't load. Why? Maybe that fixed it. There we go. For speedrunners. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, were you talking about that in your stream today? Cause that would be pretty sweet. Yeah, like make it I guess generalizable to like different games, and that'd be pretty cool. Congratulations again on the 44, by the way. That was really awesome to see live, and just to see in general. Nice. Okay, so this is a 09A0. I could have sworn that there's something that can happen where like the score is different without me intervening whatsoever. I think the players just like it should like if science makes sense, then it should be the same every single time. But I swear earlier sometimes that was not the case. Yeah. Man, I would have choked Hag 1. Like, I would have felt way too much pressure. I think this match is gonna play out the same. Okay, I don't think I'm going crazy. I swear like the score was different. I don't know how it happened. Like it doesn't make sense because the RNG in this isn't like real RNG. Well, I guess nothing technically is, but I don't know. Oh, you did almost choke. Oh no. Let's see. Okay, so that was different. The score was different that time. You see that? It's now it's 08A0. And I don't know what was different. Yeah, so that's the thing. It should always be 09A0. Yeah, sorry. I guess the lag kind of it should always be the same thing, be it 09A0 or in this case 08A0, and I thought it was like 7A0 earlier. Like theoretically, it should be the same. I I didn't actually program the I think it was called a ring oscillator or something that we had to do something to where it wasn't truly completely impossible to deter like to have undefined behavior. There was something in the software suite we were using that was like, hey, this is not going to produce predictable results, and we were like, hey, that's exactly what we're looking for, but it wouldn't let us compile the program anyway. So we had to do something that kind of it pleased the compiler, but it was random enough. So it's kind of weird. So it's sorry, don't mean to get sidetracked, but the reason I mention that is that I wasn't actually the person in charge of that part of the project. I worked mostly with overall game mechanics, the engine, the scoreboard, the controller interfacing, and the graphics. So I guess I did everything except I worked on things rather, lots of different things except for the RNG related stuff. So yeah, it was kind of I may need to like hit that guy up and see what could be causing the discrepancy. But as far as I know, so maybe there truly is like a truly random um, thing like element to this game. So our implementation of kickball rather. Um, we sure know there is for Mayan Kickball and Tooie, but yeah, this one maybe it actually ended up working exactly as we wanted. Because in all these cases, I haven't touched the controller. We'll try it again. We can see what happens. Um, but yeah, so getting random number generation in hardware is more difficult for sure than in software. So um, yeah, we'll see what happens. I think it only takes like a couple minutes for the bot to win. Oh, didn't you get on? Didn't you get a 26 or something in? Was it quarterfinals? No, wait, hold on. A 30 maybe in quarterfinals? Oh yeah, okay, it was a 30. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Mayan Kickball. I want to do. I don't know exactly. I don't think I'll be able to really do a true like 6 month anniversary of Mayan Kickball, but because like August is gonna be pretty crazy with the semester starting back and a lot of other stuff going on, and I got the 46 on February 16th, I think. Okay, it was 30 points. Congrats.